Have you ever felt like life hit you with one storm after another? And no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to catch your breath? You're not alone. Many carry the silent weight of unpredictability, losing jobs, health scares, relationships unraveling, feeling powerless as emotions spiral out of control. The panic, the anxiety, the exhaustion, it builds a cage you can't see, but you feel it every day. But today, I'm here to offer you something greater than control: clarity. There is a mindset, a philosophy, a way of living that doesn't just help you survive storms. It teaches you how to stand still in the center of the chaos and not be shaken. It's the art of acting as if nothing disturbs your peace, the art of unflappability. When the winds howl and the waters rage, don't let fear steer your ship. There is another way: calm, resilient, anchored. The world may shake, but you won't. If you're ready to reclaim your peace, your strength, your balance, comment 9 below. Let's rise, unshaken. Why is this way of thinking so crucial, one may ask? The very essence of our being contains the solution. The beauty and intricacy of life are both unexpected. Some of life's events inspire us, while others test our mettle. Personal failures, professional hurdles, and unforeseen life occurrences are all examples of the kinds of difficulties that people face. Our character is shaped by our reactions to adversity, not by the fact that it exists. Here is when our mental attitude becomes crucial. The perspective we bring to everything we do is shaped by our attitude. It influences how we see things, how we respond, and what we experience in the world. By training ourselves to see adversity not as a personal failure, but as a chance to learn and develop, we can better weather the storms of life and come out stronger on the other side. Let's make sure we understand. Living in denial or pretending nothing is wrong is not the same as acting nonchalantly about our difficulties. The key is to be aware of the difficulties we face, but to keep them from controlling our feelings and ideas. Realizing that while we can't always influence what happens to us, we can control our reaction to whatever comes our way is key. Being unflappable does not include being tough or repressing feelings. It's about learning to be strong on the inside, to keep our cool while everything else around us is crashing down. It's about learning to control our emotions so that we may feel all the highs and lows of life without being crushed by them. The components of this robust attitude will become clear as we continue our investigation. Those who have calmly traversed stormy seas will share their wisdom with us. We will go over some concrete ways to strengthen our inner selves and how to put these ideas into practice every day. Acquiring the skill of unflappability is an arduous but ultimately satisfying path. It's an adventure in discovering oneself, in breaking new ground, and in reimagining what's possible. As we go off on this adventure, may we be receptive to the wisdom it holds. The ability to keep our cool under fire is a sign of true strength. So let us take it upon ourselves to pretend that nothing is wrong when, in fact, everything is. This is about more than just weathering life's storms. It's about finding calm in the middle of storms, dancing in the rain, and making your own way through life's rocky terrain. As we go more into this topic, keep in mind that we all possess the ability to persevere when faced with challenges. Now is the beginning of our journey into resilience, which will lead to a life-altering event that will give us a fresh outlook on life. Knowing what causes the waves to rise and fall is essential as we set sail on our voyage of self-discovery. Finding the keys to resilience rely in recognizing these prevalent sources of stress in our life. There are many obstacles that each of us must overcome in our own special manner. Personal issues like health and relationships, and professional ones like advancing in one's career and finding a work-life balance, are all part of the list. Beyond these more generalized social demands, we are also shadowed by world events. The psychological effect these stresses have on us is more important than the fact that they exist. Despite its negative connotation, stress may serve as an invaluable educator. It sheds light on our weaknesses, strengths, and adaptability. On the other hand, stress may eat away at our joy, health, and productivity if we don't do anything about it. Poor decision-making, strained relationships, and stagnant growth are all possible outcomes. Knowing how to cope with stress is more important than avoiding it altogether. In order to comprehend stress, we must first turn inside and recognize our emotions. Knowing when we're feeling stressed, worried, or irritated is the key. To change our connection with stress, we must first become aware of it. Stay strong. Stress is not a sign of weakness. In response to a request, it is human nature to do so. However, how can we deal with these challenges? What matters most is how one perceives things. The tool we use to give meaning to our events is our perspective. Our perception shapes our understanding of the world. Our world is always evolving as our perspective changes. Rather than trying to hide or downplay life's difficulties behind a false veil of optimism, the point is to choose an alternative perspective. Think about the person in that scenario instead of asking, "Why me?" while you're dealing with a tough issue. One such question to ask is, "What have I learned from this?" Even if the circumstance remains the same, our perspective to it has changed due to this small change in inquiry. It changes a hurdle into a springboard, an obstacle into a chance for growth. It will take time for this shift of perspective to take place. Being patient, persistent, and practicing are necessary for mastering this talent. Reframing one's perspective to see possibilities rather than issues or roadblocks is an important part of this practice. What matters is that you look for the silver lining in every cloud and the silver lining in every loss. In addition, how we see things influences how we react. Our bodies go into fight or flight mode if we sense danger or a stress reaction. Our reaction alters, however, when we see the identical scenario as a challenge. As a result, we are better able to concentrate, stay involved, and deal with the problem. The problem still remains, but we may approach it in a more positive light now. We get a better appreciation for the complexity of the human mind as we learn more about the causes and effects of our stresses. The way we respond to stress is greatly influenced by our ideas and beliefs. A vicious circle of worry and tension may be shackled by pessimistic views and assumptions. On the other side, when we think and believe positively, we may overcome obstacles. Developing resilience is merely the first step on the road to stress mastery. Changing how we react to adversity is at the heart of this. It's about finding your footing calmly and confidently when the going gets tough. The key is realizing that we can ride out life's storms, even if we can't always predict or prevent them. In delving into our concerns, we not only find out where our tension comes from, but we also discover how capable we are of conquering those challenges. Our capacity to alter our perspective is the key that unlocks the door to a different reality we discover. We have a better grasp of ourselves and the difficulties we confront as we go forward on this path. Striking a balance between vulnerability and resilience allows us to face life's challenges with grace and dignity. As we continue our path of unflappability, it is illuminating to reflect on the past and learn from the examples set by people who have shown remarkable resilience. In the face of seemingly endless upheaval, many individuals have emerged throughout history as guiding lights. From the ancient Greek Stoics, who advocated for the need of quiet reflection, to the world leaders of today, who must calmly face the storms of globalization. Their unfaltering composure serves as a compelling reminder that mastering composure is a skill that is within reach. Think about Seneca's life and teachings as a Stoic philosopher. He remained calm and collected in the face of tremendous personal and political adversity. Even in the face of adversity, his works stress the need of mastering one's own emotions. More recently, we have had leaders such as Nelson Mandela, who, upon his release from jail after 27 years, did not return resentful, but determined to help his country recover. Unflappability is a trait that has stood the test of time, and these examples from many walks of life show that this is true. Is there a theory that underpins this extraordinary exchange, though? Realizing that our experiences are fleeting is the essence of maintaining composure under duress. Every phase of life, good and bad, is transitory, and how we respond to them determines the course of our journey. Rather than downplaying the significance of our experiences, this philosophy gives us the tools to gracefully and wisely react to them. Simply said, serenity is the key to this ideology. Having equanimity means you can be calm and collected no matter how good or bad things go. The key is to establish a steady equilibrium inside yourself that can weather any storm. Being balanced does not mean being emotionally distant or uncaring. What it really boils down to is being fully present in life, while yet peacefully accepting that everything is always evolving. In that case, how can we train ourselves to be so level-headed? Achieving unflappability requires work on both a mental and physical level. The development of certain viewpoints and attitudes starts in the mind and finds expression in our behaviors and responses. Developing a composed attitude may be achieved via the practice of mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness entails training oneself to pay undivided attention in the here and now, unperturbed by thoughts or external stimuli. Mindfulness training helps us respond consciously, rather than automatically, to events. By regularly engaging in this technique, we are able to separate our reactive emotions from our actual behavior, giving us more agency over our reactions. A key component is developing emotional intelligence. This requires being in tune with our emotions, seeing how they influence our decisions, and figuring out how to control them. Having emotional intelligence allows us to gracefully traverse our emotional terrain, making sure that our emotions work for us instead than against us. Additionally, in order to cultivate unflappability, we must learn to see adversities as chances for personal development. This change of viewpoint is vital. Looking at problems as opportunities encourages us to be more inquisitive and receptive than defensive and fearful. When we change our viewpoint, we alter the fundamental character of our encounters, transforming possible roadblocks into opportunities. Resilience training also helps one become more adept at remaining calm under pressure. Being resilient means you can get back up after falling down. It's about establishing a solid inner base that can endure the tempests of life. A solid sense of purpose, positive connections, and regular self-care all contribute to this base. Weaving the thread of unflappability into our everyday life is the goal as we dive into these tactics. Be patient, persistent, and practice. It will take time. However, there are incalculable benefits. Being able to keep our cool under pressure improves our resilience, which in turn improves our relationships and our capacity to relish in life's little joys. When we commit to becoming unflappable, we set out on a path that will change our lives. It's a voyage that gets to the essence of humanity, learning to gracefully navigate life's challenges. As we go on, we acquire the knowledge and wisdom to face challenges head-on and see things clearly. A life of equilibrium, resilience, and deep satisfaction is possible after this path of learning and development. The path to unflappability is not just a question of thought, but also of action as we explore the realities of resilience development. It's all about making mental and emotional fortifications a regular part of our life. By engaging in these routines, we may train ourselves to be more present, develop our EQ, and triumph over adversity. The formation of routines is the bedrock of strengthening resilience. These routines give our days a regular beat, like a drum beat, and provide us structure and security. Reflection is one of these habits. The need of regularly pausing to think on what has happened, how we have responded, and what we have learned cannot be overstated. This contemplation may be achieved via writing in a diary, meditating, or even just taking some time to sit quietly and think. Because of this, we are able to deal with our feelings and ideas, getting a better understanding. The practice of self-care is also vital. The cornerstone of resilience is self-care, which is often disregarded due to our hectic lifestyles. It includes a variety of activities, including as getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, and relaxing. By adhering to these routines, we maintain mental and physical wellness. A strong mind needs a healthy body, and a healthy body gives it to you. The practice of mindfulness, which we have discussed, is another important aspect of developing resilience. It's all about living in the here and now, giving our undivided attention to what's happening right now. Meditation is only one way to practice mindfulness. Other easy ways include paying attention as you eat, move, or listen. It's all about focusing intently on the task at hand, without attaching any judgment or distractions. By raising our level of self-awareness, this exercise enables us to face life's obstacles not automatically, but intentionally. Building resilience also requires emotional intelligence. The first step is being aware of and in tune with our own and other people's emotional states. Learning to empathize, controlling our emotions, and deftly navigating the complexity of social situations are all part of it. Active listening, being receptive to criticism, and controlling our reactions while we're feeling emotional are all easy ways to build emotional intelligence. The most important parts of developing resilience are probably getting back up after falling down and learning from your mistakes. Everyone knows that life isn't a series of do-goods. Setbacks, disappointments, and failures are interspersed throughout. While these experiences might be difficult at times, they provide priceless chances for personal development. Their lessons in tenacity and patience, as well as our own abilities and shortcomings, are invaluable. The most important thing is to learn from your mistakes, rather than trying to prevent them. Many people throughout history have served as shining examples of this philosophy. Think about Thomas Edison, who, after several unsuccessful attempts, eventually came up with revolutionary innovations, or J.K. Rowling, who met with a great deal of disappointment before to the popularity of Harry Potter. The key to resilience, as these examples show, is not falling down every time, but getting back up again and again. The theory and practice of maintaining composure under stress and learning to do the same are inseparable. Development, education, and change are highly prized in this philosophical framework. Life's winds are not meant to be feared, but rather to be skillfully and wisely handled. We begin to build resilience into our own essence as we cultivate these tactics. Rather of seeing difficulties as insurmountable hurdles, we begin to view them as chances to put our newly acquired talents to use. We train ourselves to be receptive to new experiences and information by maintaining an attitude of genuine curiosity. Developing resilience is an ongoing effort. Keep that in mind as we go further on this path. Although the payoff is enormous, it demands dedication, hard work, and patience. Possessing a resilient attitude does more than only make us better able to deal with life's inevitable bumps. It also makes our experiences, connections, and health that much better. We set off on a path of self-transformation when we accept these actionable actions. A path that leads us to a state of inner harmony, power, and great contentment. Along the way, we learn to not only weather life's storms, but also to bask in its brightness. Going ahead, let us incorporate these techniques into our everyday lives and see how they mold our journey towards resilience and unflappability. Learning what it means to live a strong and graceful life is crucial as we work to become more resilient and unflappable. This isn't only about getting through tough times. It's about prospering in the face of adversity, with grace and composure, as well as strength. Being a strong, graceful oak tree amid a storm is a metaphor for life. No matter how bad the weather gets, an oak tree will remain strong and firmly planted, while yet being able to bend and swing in the wind. Living a life of grace and resilience is encapsulated in this metaphor. It's about being able to adjust to life's unpredictable twists and turns, while being firmly grounded in our principles and principles. Being gracious when faced with hardship involves taking a stand, not just accepting it. The key is to keep our cool, approach every circumstance with confidence, and face obstacles with dignity. Our outlook on life, our treatment of others, and, most significantly, our treatment of ourselves are all manifestations of this grace. Being compassionate and kind is key, and not just to other people, but also to ourselves, particularly when we're down. Contrarily, people tend to equate strength with simple emotional or physical fortitude. But there's a lot more to real strength. Self-confidence is the ability to let one's guard down, speak honestly about one's challenges, and ultimately triumph over adversity. Having inner strength allows us to remain calm in the face of life's uncertainty. Grace and strength work together to create an incredible force. It enables us to gracefully and persistently traverse life's highs and lows. A great many people, both past and present, have shown this combination. Consider the elegance and grace with which MLK Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi led their movements. Their stance was always one of nonviolence and dignity, even in the face of tremendous hostility and adversity. These days, it's common to hear stories of individuals who have triumphed against adversity and are now doing good deeds by sharing what they've learned with others. How can we, therefore, train ourselves to be more graceful and strong? Being conscious of one's own merits and shortcomings, as well as one's own principles and worldview, is the first step. The ability to recognize and accept one's own shortcomings is the cornerstone of resilience, giving one the strength to overcome adversity. Expressing appreciation is another important part. Being grateful changes our perspective from what we don't have to what we do have. Amidst adversity, it serves as a constant reminder of the blessings in our life. This change in outlook improves our resilience and has real-world benefits on our health and happiness. Additionally, emotional management is of utmost importance. The key is learning to control our emotions so that we can react correctly in different scenarios. Rather than repressing our feelings, we should strive to understand and accept them. A sign of power and elegance is the capacity to control one's emotions. To live a strong and graceful life, one must also be willing to embrace change and uncertainty. Realizing that you can't control the world around you and finding ways to thrive in spite of it are major themes. Rather than resisting change, we should embrace it as an opportunity to learn and adapt, adjusting our perspective, values, and behavior to suit new realities. Furthermore, it is critical to have a feeling of purpose. Living a life that is focused and purposeful requires a great deal of mental clarity. We stay rooted in our convictions and driven in our efforts because our purpose serves as a compass, guiding us through life's storms. Living a strong and graceful life becomes second nature when we include these techniques into our daily routines. We take on the qualities of an oak tree, sturdy but pliable, long-lived, yet beautiful. Living this manner not only makes it easier to deal with the difficulties life throws at us, but it also makes our lives richer, which in turn strengthens our bonds with people and gives us more happiness.